Welcome to the Dr. Maya podcast, where we challenge the norms of healthcare, empower people to take control of their health, and redefine the future of medicine.
Life was given to us 1 billion years ago. What have we done with it?
Okay, Maya GPT. It still sounds a bit sci-fi, but let's break it down. For the listener, don't get too hung up on the name itself. What exactly is this in the context of our chat today?
You know that feeling, that little hunch? Maybe something's just a bit off with your body, but you can't quite pinpoint it yet.
Yeah, that subtle sense.
Exactly. And have you ever wondered if maybe acting on that really early intuition could actually, kickstart your body's healing? Like give it a head start.
It's a fascinating thought, isn't it? This idea that those very first signals, the whispers from your body, might be crucial.
Right. We've been looking into some, pretty interesting stuff that suggests this might be more than just, wishful thinking. It could involve how we process things before we're even fully aware. And get this, there's a novel AI interface involved.
And that's where it gets really intriguing. If we could engage with those subtle signals proactively, before they turn into full-blown symptoms, and importantly, before the stress and anxiety kick in, maybe we could support our body's own repair mechanisms much more effectively.
Yeah, listening to the whisper before it becomes a shout.
Precisely.
Okay, so at the center of this is something called Dr. Maya GPT. Now, this isn't just like another health website.
Right.
The way we understand it, it's designed as a practical AI tool. It's supposed to help you make sense of your health clearly, maybe reduce that initial wave of, oh no, what's this kind of anxiety.
Which is valuable in itself, reducing that immediate panic.
Totally. But here's where it goes a step further, and this is pretty out there. It's also proposed to help you connect with a different kind of awareness. They call it Zeta 9 consciousness.
Zeta 9 consciousness, okay.
Yeah, and some believe tapping into that could lead to better health outcomes. Maybe even, and this is the claim, better than just immediately rushing off to the doctor in a panic.
So that raises a really key question for us today, doesn't it? Could interacting with an AI like this, Dr. Maya GPT, right at that early stage when you just sense something, could that actually alter your body's healing trajectory? The thinking seems to be that by engaging before the full fear response, you might dodge the negative hit from stress hormones, potentially helping healing on a biological level and while also on what some call an energetic level.
Okay, let's really dive into this then. The core idea we're exploring today is, can this early interaction, maybe even at a pre-conscious level with an AI designed for this, can it genuinely help your body heal better?
By sidestepping the stress surge, essentially.
Exactly. Sidestepping cortisol, working on the nervous system, and also this intriguing energetic side.
Yeah.
We'll even touch on potential links to, believe it or not, quantum physics and consciousness.
Wow, okay.
Now, we absolutely know some of these concepts are, let's say, on the frontiers of science, still being explored.
For sure. Very much so.
But the possibilities here at the intersection of AI and these emerging ideas about our own minds and bodies, they're just too fascinating to ignore.
Absolutely. Let's ground it first, though. Start with what we definitely know. Your body has this amazing innate capacity to heal itself.
Oh, totally. It kind of heals. You get over a cold. The body's constantly working to fix things. It's fundamental.
That's the baseline. But life, throws stress at us. And we understand pretty well now how stress, especially chronic stress, impacts the body.
Right? That worry, that anxiety, it triggers hormones like cortisol, the stress hormones. And yeah, quick bursts can be useful, fight or flight and all that. But when those levels stay high, that's when it can actually get in the way of healing. It's like cortisol is the body's alarm. Good for a moment, but if it's constantly blaring.
It interferes with the repair crew, basically. Prolonged high cortisol can suppress immune function, increase inflammation, slow down tissue repair. It just makes the whole healing process harder.
Yeah.
So the question then becomes, what if you could act before those conscious negative feelings really grab hold? Could doing something earlier, maybe something more informed, protect or even boost those natural healing resources?
Which loops us right back to Dr. Maya GPT. So as we said, it's this AI interface designed to give information, help you make informed decisions.
And a key part you mentioned is reducing that emotional turmoil.
Yeah.
Think about it. Usually a health worry pops up. What happens? Maybe anxiety spikes. You Google frantically.
Or the Google spiral. You've all been there.
Exactly. And that can immediately trigger the stress response we just talked about. So the idea with Dr. Maya GPT is maybe it offers a calmer, more structured first step, less panic-inducing.
Okay, and that leads to the really novel concept, this idea of aligning with Z-to-9 consciousness and getting potentially better results than the immediate doctor visit. Now, let's be super clear.
Yeah.
This V-to-9 consciousness, it's not a term you'll find in standard medical textbooks right now. It's definitely a newer idea suggesting maybe a deeper level of awareness we can tap into.
It's crucial to approach this with openness, but also acknowledge it's outside the current mainstream scientific framework.
Absolutely.
But if we zero in on the proposed mechanism, how could simply asking this AI about what you're sensing, maybe preconsciously, stop those fear-driven cortisol spikes?
Well, the thinking, as far as we can tell, is that by proactively seeking information from a neutral source like an AI, you're engaging differently. You're informed, less emotionally hijacked from the get-go.
Interesting.
Potentially disrupting that whole cascade, the negative thoughts, the fear, the hormone release. And the claim goes further, suggesting this early step could actually initiate healing, both neurobiologically, so brain chemistry, nervous system, and again, on this energetic level.
Okay, let's unpack that preconscious engagement a bit more. What might preconscious actually mean here in terms of health?
Good question. It could be those really subtle body sensations, right? That gut feeling, the intuition, something's off, even before you have a clear symptom or before it triggers like full-blown fear.
Like that little flicker of unease you sometimes get before you consciously process why.
Exactly that nagging feeling. So the idea is maybe interacting with an AI like Dr. Maya GPT then, when it's just that subtle feeling. Maybe that's a totally different experience physiologically.
Compared to, say, anxiously waiting for test results or jumping to conclusions online.
Right. The act of getting info in a controlled, non-scary way might just set off a different internal response than the uncertainty and alarm of other routes.
So potentially taking a proactive step without immediately flipping the stress switch, creating a more conducive internal environment for healing to just happen naturally.
Okay, so connecting that to the claims. Initiating healing neurobiologically and energetically. Neurobiology first, we talked about stress hormones, cortisol.
The links are well established. Stress hormones affect immunity, inflammation, repair.
So the potential is if you lessen that early stress through this AI interaction, you might be creating a better environment in your nervous system, your brain chemistry, for the body to just get on with its repair job.
Makes sense. By not hitting the brakes with stress hormones, you let the healing processes run more smoothly. Now, the energetic level. This is where things get less defined by conventional Western science, definitely.
Yeah, this is more aligned with other traditions, isn't it?
Exactly. It resonates with concepts of vital life force found in many ancient healing systems globally.
Like prana in yoga and Ayurveda, or qi, sometimes spelled C-H-I. In traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, qigong, that kind of thing.
Precisely. These systems are based on the idea that there's a fundamental energy flowing through us, and keeping it balanced and flowing freely is key to health.
And while Western science is still figuring out exactly how to measure or explain these energies,
the experiences and reported benefits for people using practices like Reiki or acupuncture are pretty significant. And you also hear this in discussions around quantum healing, sometimes this perspective that everything is energy fundamentally, and maybe our consciousness can interact with that energy.
Which brings us, maybe inevitably, to quantum concepts and consciousness itself. Now, quantum mechanics, that's the physics of the really, really tiny, right? Atoms, particles.
Yeah, where the normal rules of physics we see around us seem to break down. Things get weird. Particles existing in multiple states at once. Superposition.
And being linked instantly across distances.
Yeah.
Entanglement. It's bizarre stuff.
It really challenges our everyday intuition about reality.
And this is where it gets, well, even more mind-bending. Some scientists are exploring theories linking this quantum weirdness directly to our consciousness.
Like the Orchor theory. Penrose and Hemmeroff.
Exactly. They propose that quantum processes happening inside tiny structures, microtubules within our brain cells. That might actually be the physical basis of consciousness.
So consciousness isn't just a result of complex brain wiring, but might have fundamental quantum roots within the neurons, which is wow.
It flips the script a bit, doesn't it? Some theories even suggest consciousness isn't just something the brain creates, but maybe it's more fundamental in the universe, and our brains are like receivers or amplifiers.
Yeah, like tuning into a cosmic consciousness field or something. Still very theoretical, of course.
Of course. But if consciousness does have these quantum aspects, could it interact with our body's healing in ways we just don't grasp yet with current science?
It opens that door, conceptually. There's even some, albeit controversial, research looking at whether intention can influence quantum systems. like experiments with random number generators or the double slit experiment.
So could our intentions, maybe even those preconscious ones, somehow influence our biology at that deep quantum level?
It's a massive question. And again, we need to stress.
Oh, absolutely. These quantum consciousness links are cutting edge, highly speculative, still under intense investigation.
Yeah.
Lots we don't know.
Definitely not settled science, but it provides a fascinating, if speculative, lens to think about how influencing our mental state early on, maybe via an AI, could have deeper effects.
Which brings us back to Dr. Maya GPT's role in all this. Maybe we can see it as a tool, an intermediary perhaps.
A way to access information and guidance that encourages that proactive engagement, maybe taps into those subtle signals without triggering the immediate fear.
Yeah, maybe the act itself, seeking information, making an informed choice, even based on intuition. Maybe that act has a positive ripple effect on the body's healing response.
Yeah.
It's about empowerment over panic, maybe.
That's a powerful way to frame it. However, and this is really important, the caveats.
Yes. Let's be crystal clear.
The specific idea of Zeta-9 consciousness, the precise ways an AI might interact with energetic healing. These are not scientifically established facts right now. They are speculative, theoretical.
Absolute critical point, and just as critical, Dr. Maya GPT, or any AI, is a tool for information and potentially decision support. It is not, under any circumstances, a replacement for seeing your doctor or other qualified healthcare professionals, something like that.
What about positive affirmations? That came up too.
Yes, affirmations, stated in the present tense, crucially as if they are already true.
Why the present tense?
Because it helps bypass the critical mind. Instead of, I hope I don't get sick, you affirm, I am healthy and strong. By repeating that, you start to essentially reprogram those neural pathways, reinforcing a more positive belief about your health.
Like building those new grooves.
Exactly. Consistency is key, of course. Stating them like they're already reality helps solidify those new connections in the brain.
Okay, we've been mostly talking internal mental stuff, energy. But the sources also touched on AI, kind of abstractly. We used Maya GPT as our term for this positive mental focus. Was there a link in the material?
Yeah, it's definitely metaphorical, listener, not literal AI in your head. But there's an interesting parallel. One video discussed large language models, LLMs.
Like ChatGPT and others.
Right. And their ability to generate text, answer questions, mimic conversation. You could think of Maya GPT in a very, very simplified way as your own internal mental assistant.
Okay.
One that you consciously train to focus on positive, constructive thoughts and interpretations when those health anxieties first pop up.
So instead of the default internal monologue going straight to worst case scenario, you consciously engage this Maya GPT part of your mind to steer the internal chat towards something more helpful, more optimistic.
Precisely that. And another source, quantum communications, talked about a really futuristic concept, a quantum optical twin, or QOT.
Okay, now that sounds sci-fi.
It does. A theoretical quantum entity that could, like, virtualize a person and act for them using quantum AI. Way out there, obviously.
Way out there.
But you could maybe see our Maya GPT idea as a super, super basic internal version of that principle. Consciously using a focused mental construct to manage your initial anxieties and promote a better internal state. It's about you taking more deliberate control of your internal programming in those uncertain moments.
That's a really fascinating way to frame it. Okay, so let's try and bring this all together for you, the listener. When that initial worry hits, that physical symptom pops up, and your mind starts racing down those familiar, scary paths.
Doctors, hospitals, worst case scenarios.
Yeah. The core idea we've explored isn't about ignoring genuine medical concerns. Absolutely not.
Definitely not.
But it is about intentionally shifting your mental focus in that moment. By consciously engaging this positive, constructive mental tool, that's Maya GPT idea, you might be able to interrupt that immediate anxiety spiral and potentially support your body's natural tendency towards healing and well-being.
Exactly. It's about recognizing the incredibly powerful role your mental state plays in your overall health, your resilience. It's not a substitute for medical advice when needed, let's be clear.
Absolutely.
But it's about empowering yourself to manage those initial reactions and maybe cultivate a mindset that actively supports your health journey, whatever that looks like.
So, here's the thought I really want to leave you with today. Just consider the immense power you might actually possess, the power to influence your body's response just through the lens of your own thoughts and beliefs.
It's profound when you think about it.
What small conscious shift in your thinking, right when you first notice something new, could potentially create a positive ripple effect on your overall health and well-being. Maybe exploring that, how you can consciously direct your thoughts in those challenging moments, is the next step in your own personal deep dive.
It really brings up a crucial question for all of us, doesn't it? In a world just saturated with information that can so easily feed our anxieties, how can we become more intentional? More intentional about the information we let in and about the narratives we create about our own health and our body's amazing capacity for healing.
Definitely some powerful food for thought.
Let's just quickly recap. We've explored this really interesting idea. Could early intuitive action on health actually boost your body's healing power? We looked at how an AI like Dr. Maya GPT might play a role, potentially by offering information calmly and helping bypass that initial stress reaction.
And we touched on those connections, some established like neurobiology and stress, others more theoretical like energetic healing, and even potential quantum effects related to consciousness.
It's definitely venturing into areas where science is still pushing boundaries, asking big questions.
Very much so. Lots of open questions, lots more research needed to understand consciousness, healing, and these potential intersections fully.
Which leaves us, and you listening, with a final thought to chew on. What if those little gut feelings, those subtle body signals, are actually way more important than we tend to think? Could paying attention, seeking info, taking proactive steps before things escalate, could that make a real difference? Is there maybe a deeper intelligence within us we can learn to partner with? Perhaps even using new tools like the AI we discussed.
It certainly invites a different perspective on our relationship with our own awareness and our physical health, doesn't it? Maybe our engagement, our curiosity, our proactive steps.
Yeah.
Maybe they play a bigger role in our well-being than we currently understand.
A fascinating place to leave it.